Hello, beautiful human. You clicked on our conversation with Alec Benjamin. He is one of my favorite human beings of all time. He's just such a lovable, kind, true person. I don't know. And he's just, he's great. You'll see why if you don't already know. Narrated For You, that is his mixtape, not an album. Totally deserves your ear. Just a collection of stories that I see myself in, I hear myself in, and I think you could do the same. Narrated For You. We're going to post a link in the description below. Please leave your thoughts on this conversation in the comments section below. And subscribe if you want. But if you don't subscribe, it doesn't matter because we're not going anywhere. Enjoy.
Let's do this. Zach Show.
We got Heather.
Hi.
We got Dan. And we welcome back to the studio one of the most incredible human beings, a stellar storyteller,
Thank you.
Alec Benjamin.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me back. And okay, so last time I was here, I brought you chocolates. And then I literally just got back to California and I didn't have time to stop because I would have been late. So I did do this when I was just in the bathroom.
Well, that's what was taking you so long.
Wait, okay. Yeah.
We thought you were
I was
just making
making this thing. So this says, this is a coupon to redeem 1 box of chocolates the next time you see me. But it says, some restrictions may apply, only valid through 2018.
We have like 2 weeks left.
Yeah, so in the next 2 weeks, otherwise this is not going to be valid, so I'll give this to you.
Can you hold it up so we can see it?
Oh, yeah. Well, some of the words I left out because it's in Sharpie, so they got smudged, but you get the idea.
I totally get it. I'm here for it, and I'm
Okay.
excited to redeem my box of chocolates from you.
Wonderful. Okay, I'll make sure I have it. But then if you don't redeem it, I'm giving it to someone else. But you can't, but then... Okay, I was going to say, never mind. Okay. Well, you can't be upset then.
No, I
'Cause
will.
Okay.
I will never be upset if you give my
All right.
chocolates to a more deserving home.
Okay.
But I want to know that if I'm looking to redeem it in a timely manner,
Right.
I'll actually get my chocolates.
You will.
Okay.
Got like 2 or 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
I got time.
Yeah, you got time.
Are you still giving out gifts at shows?
Okay, so sometimes I am. I think I found that it's actually easier to give away gifts when you're opening for somebody, is what I found. But I have given away a few gifts. And I'm trying to think of what we gave away. Okay, so I had a backdrop that was like a storefront, and I gave away items that you would find in a store, so like milk and things like that. And there was one night where I was like, okay, I have this carton of milk, and there were a lot of people who really wanted it, and I was kind of like, well, you might not want to hold this for the whole show, but they did. So that was cool. Yeah.
You do that, right? Like you'll give away a gift, but then sometimes if you don't want people to be with it, you'll give it away at the end. I watched that at your last LA show.
Yes.
Do you want to give something away tonight? I mean,
maybe I'll give away another coupon to redeem a box of chocolates.
I would also love to dedicate something from my studio to the Alec Benjamin Gift Fund.
Okay, really?
You can pick a tchotchke.
Okay.
Anywhere.
Right now?
Yeah, and you can give it away.
I thought this was pretty cool, but I kind of wanted it for myself.
Oh, it's squish it.
This is actually awesome.
Right now,
but well, are you sure you don't want this?
we can give it away. It's
Zach,
going to a better
Zach
home.
loves that thing.
Okay, I'm not giving it away.
No.
I'm not doing
I will
that.
buy I'll buy another squishy
No
toy.
way.
I'm not attached to the Norwal.
I don't want to give away your things, but I will find something and I will give it away, but it will be dedicated in your honor.
That's beautiful.
So it'll be from you.
But let me give a tchotchke. Like you can pick, and really, you could take
How
the Norwal.
about that foot?
Yeah, you can give away the foot.
Okay.
Or you can give away Reptar. There's a Troll Doll, Chucky Finster, or the foot.
No, I'll give away the foot.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. I think that's a good thing to give away. It's quite weird, so I like that.
Send it to a deserving
I mean,
home.
a foot isn't weird, but having like a small foot is weird. You know?
Are you insulting people with tiny feet?
No, I'm not. Well, I didn't want to insult people with feet, but I also don't want to insult people without feet, so I'm off it now. Okay.
Okay.
There's nothing weird about it, even if it's even a tiny foot. It's all good.
How are you doing? How's life?
I'm doing really good. Life is really cool. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm really happy.
Man, you're turning into like a superstar. Like you're getting pretty big.
Well, I don't know about that, but what I am happy is that I'm happy that But when I first hung out with you guys, like I had not put my music out, and I've been sitting on music for a really long time, and I wanted people to hear it. And now I feel really good that people are hearing the music. So that's really the most exciting thing for me is when, I know that people are listening to the songs.
Narrated For You, that is the album. And when it's been a minute since I've connected with an album the way I've connected with yours.
Okay. Thank you.
The stories,
That's good.
they're so vivid, they're powerful, they're beautiful. I escape in them, but I also like realize things about myself through them. Cool. I mean, I played it for everybody in my family over Thanksgiving break.
Thank you so much.
My mom and I listened to it like 3 or 4 times. My mom is now on the list of many big fans of yours.
Oh, amazing.
John Mayer, also
That's
on
cool.
that list.
Yeah, that's cool.
He likes
That's really
you.
cool. I love John Mayer. I love him a lot. Yeah, I love his music. So that was really exciting for me when I found out that he had heard my music and that he liked it. It was like a really cool moment for me, because I think a lot of nights, in everything, it doesn't matter what you're pursuing in every field. Sometimes you wake up and you go, you have the one person that you look up to and you're like, oh, I wonder what they would think of what I'm doing. And because sometimes you feel like you're lost and you don't know, oh, is this right? Am I headed in the right direction? And so when someone kind of shouts you out and is like, yeah, you're doing good, you're like, well, that's great. It makes you feel like, okay, this wasn't a waste of time, because some nights you get super lost in your own head, not sure like if you're doing the right thing.
Did that John Mayer Instagram post hit you at the perfect time?
It hit me at a really, well, yes, but it also, sort of, because I was sleeping and someone in the van woke me up and really scared me, and then I saw it and I freaked out, and then everyone in the van was like, whoa, chill, but it was really cool. Yeah, I mean, there's always, I don't know, I feel like there's never a bad time for something like that to happen. So
was there fear within you when putting out Narrated For You?
Yeah, there's a lot of fear, because yeah, I think when you have songs for a while and maybe they're not new anymore, and then you start to second guess them, and maybe some of them you like work on a little bit too much, and then maybe they get overcooked. And yeah, I mean, yes, I was very scared to put it out. I was very scared. I'm always scared to put out new music because I don't know if people are gonna like it. And ultimately, like, I do make music for myself, but I also want people to enjoy the music too. So
do you now feel like you're headed in the right direction?
I don't know, because ultimately, like, my main goal in life is not, my main goal in life is to be a musician, and right now at least, but I want to have like, a family and like kids and stuff. Like, that's the ultimate goal for me. And so I won't really know. And I think the thing that scares me the most is, like, if I do have kids, like, or when I do, because I want to, like, will I be like a good parent? That is like that freaks me out.
How often do you think of that?
A lot, quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, because, well, in my song, like, If We Have Each Other, I talked about, like,
your sister.
My biggest fear is, like, my parents are older, and so my biggest fear is, like, my parents, passing away. And I think, like, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, my biggest fear is that, and I think about they were really good parents, and so I just want to be like, I want to be a good parent too.
Do you want to have kids before they pass on? Does that add stress to this?
Well, no, that does. I'm not worried about that. I just think, like, I want to have people in my life that I care about just as much as my parents and my sister. And I think, like, the only way to do that is to have a family.
But you got to find somebody to make the family with.
Yeah, well, that's
a vital piece.
You definitely got to do that first. Yeah, but that, I'm not so worried about that. I think, like, that will come in time.
If you never find love, at least you can adopt.
Also, too, I could also get a dog too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that would totally fill this void.
Yeah, maybe I need to get a dog, or you do like one of those, like, well, it's not the same, but I was thinking of, like, Shrinky Dinks, when you put one in the sink and it, like, expands into an animal. But I probably won't be doing that. You know what I thought of the other day too? Have you guys ever played Mighty Beans?
Yes. Beans. Okay, you would shake them and they would move, right?
Yeah.
And they'd have faces on them.
They're not like children or anything, but, like, for a minute, or like Pokemon, I was like really attached. Like, in my game, I was like pretty attached to my Charizard, and I feel like I did a really decent job of raising him, at least, like, in the Pokemon world. So it's not like that gave me, like, a certain sense of, like, okay, maybe I could be a good parent. Okay. Not like having a Charizard in Pokemon Blue is like the same thing, but I actually didn't have a Charizard in Pokemon Blue. I had a Blastoise, but it's okay. Anyways.
Now you're just lying. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Teach your kids to lie.
Okay.
Are you artistically headed in the right direction?
I hope so. I hope that I am. But I am still making music. So I feel like sometimes if you make an album, like it's not done after that. You have more songs to make, and then sometimes it becomes, you're like, okay, now what's next? What do I do now? So I think I am. I'm at least staying true to myself. So that makes me happy. At least the music that I put out, it was all me and it was all honest and true stuff.
Has anything in your creative process changed since Narrated For You? Are you still writing every day?
That's been a little bit more difficult, only because I'm traveling a little bit more now, and so sometimes when you're traveling, it's hard to find the space and the time to write. But I have been writing at least 2 or 3 songs a week on the road.
Oh, that's a lot of songs.
Yeah, well, it's not as much as I was doing before, though.
One a day.
So yeah, 1 a day before, but I've slowed down only because I just can't do it all while I'm in a van. You know, sometimes you're in the van for 10 hours and until you get to the next city, you get there and it's like you don't expect to be tired after sitting in a van because you just sat all day. But it's like a little, you're like, wow, I feel weird. And then you just want to go to bed.
Are you gathering inspiration as you go? Do you make notes or do you just sit and like reflect?
I've definitely got a lot of inspiration from being on the road. I saw a lot of things that I've never seen. And also sometimes it's easy to forget how big America is and how diverse and how every state has something different and people are different and they think differently and you have different experiences, even though we're all
the same.
And yeah, we're all in America. You know, I think that's what makes it an amazing place, but it's hard. I didn't understand that, and I still think I don't have like a full grasp on it, but I at least get like a little bit better picture of what the country is like, and just getting to go to the places and spending some time there, and that's been very inspiring for me.
Let's dive into this album.
Okay.
By the way, other famous fans of yours, Billie Eilish, Ryan Tedder, Lennon Stella.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That one morning I woke up and my Instagram was going crazy and I had like 1 million text messages, and it was because Billie Eilish did a cover of The Water Fountain.
Unbelievable.
It was beautiful, and I was like, wow, that was so cool. It was so exciting.
Do you connect after that?
Well, I sent her a message, but she didn't read it, so. But it doesn't matter. Like, that was enough for me. You know, if that's it, then that's cool. Actually, you know, interestingly enough, I went to a show of hers one time, and a friend of mine knows her, and so he introduced me to her when she was. It was maybe a year ago, and she's grown so fast, you know. So it was big then, but it wasn't like it is now. And she was super cool to me, and she was like, "Hey, you know that Water Fountain song? I really like that song." And it was really genuine, and like she didn't have to say anything to me or whatever, and I didn't even know that she'd heard my music. So when she posted it, I was like, "Oh wow, that's so cool," you know.
And she listened to the re-release version.
She did.
Of Water Fountain.
Yeah, she did. I have, you know, that was so weird because I wanted to re-sing it and change it a little bit, but sometimes I wonder, man, maybe if we lost a little bit of the song in it, I'm not sure, you know. And then you do a demo and you record it, and people are like, "Oh, I like the demo better." The good news about that is that both still exist. But
you can
sometimes,
compare.
yeah, sometimes you maybe you lose a little bit of the soul of what was there.
I didn't feel that,
Okay,
and I've
good.
listened to both many times.
Okay, well, I trust you, so that's why I send you all my songs before. If it passes the Zach Sang test, I know, like, okay, I can put it out.
Get out of here. I really one thing is getting those records from you makes my days, weeks, dude. Let Me Down Slowly is one of my top 3 most played songs on Spotify.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah, but dude, it's barely been out, number 1, so I've listened to it like crazy. But number 2, you sent me that record probably a couple months before it came out.
Yeah.
And then I was listening to it on repeat.
Oh,
like,
cool.
Crazy.
Okay, so maybe if it would have been on Spotify, then it could have been like top 2.
Yeah, they needed me.
But that's awesome. Thank you so much. And seriously, you guys are the best. I really am like so excited that you would have me back. I've been really looking forward to this. Like, I was looking forward to it all day. And then yeah, well, you know, yesterday we had like some crazy stuff happen, and so then I didn't know if I was gonna be able to come because our van got totaled, it was wild. I wasn't in it, so like, you know, I can't like post, you know, one of those things where it's like, you know, so happy I'm alive, and then someone sends you a message and they're like, I actually wasn't in it, but like think about like what could have happened if I was though. You know? I didn't want to do that, but like it was pretty crazy, you know, like the tour manager was pulling out of a space and then he got hit pretty much head on, and the whole thing was destroyed.
Damn.
You know, and
Somebody hit him? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
the van's big. Was it
Yeah.
like a giant truck?
it was like, you know, one of those big like utility vans or whatever. It wasn't like one of those regular white vans, but it was like a bigger one, like slightly bigger, has a big ceiling, has an Xbox in it, which is pretty lit, you know.
What kind of car hit him?
I think it was a Prius, which is brave of a Prius. to
Yes.
do.
Yeah, right.
It's very brave.
That Prius won.
Yeah, but it really, you know, no one got hurt, but we had so much stuff like yesterday trying to figure out, okay, well, how are we going to get our stuff to the venue? How am I going to get to well, we were already in California, but how am I going to get to Los Angeles from San Francisco? But we figured it out. We actually got a new van in like 3 hours, but it created a host of other issues. But yeah, I was like, wow, how do we have a new van already?
Yeah, but now you got a tour story, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes it in a book or a documentary one day.
Well, actually, I have a crazier story than that. I was on tour. Did I tell you this? When I got into a bus accident.
No.
When I was on tour with John Bellion, opening for him, I was on the crew/support bus. We were driving through Nebraska, and I've never had like an actual near-death experience before this, but I legitimately thought like, okay, I'm gonna die. So our tire exploded. I didn't know this. I'm sleeping at the time. All of a sudden, I had a dream that I was in an earthquake, and the bus starts shaking, and then I got thrown out of the top bunk onto the floor, and then our brakes went out. We went off a 10-foot embankment into a cornfield.
What? Oh my.
It was crazy. It was so crazy. And I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, whoa, this could be it. And eventually we stopped. I didn't know where we were, so I opened up the door. You know, I'm like not wearing any clothes, like walking out, and there's corn everywhere. I was like, what is going on? And yeah, we had ended up like half a mile into a cornfield.
Was everybody okay?
Everyone was okay, but I pretty much jumped out of the back of the bus like almost with no clothes on. I was the first one out. I could hear, like, I saw all my stuff like sitting in the bed, you know, with my laptop and everything, and I heard my mom in my head. She was like, just don't take anything, just leave. So I just jumped out the back. But we ended up being okay, but it was crazy.
So you remember all those details so vividly. You feel an emotion that's the first time you've ever felt it, right? That you're gonna die. Do you tap into those emotions when writing music at all? Because, dude, these records, there's a host of different emotions. Some are dark, some are light. It's like...
Yes, I do actually. I have a song that I didn't release that I actually really like that may come out, and it was called Till It Happens to You. And it's like, maybe not about this specific incident, but you never think that something like that is going to happen until it happens to you. You know, everybody thinks that they can tempt fate because it's just not going to happen to them. And then you have that moment where you're like, wow, it's happening to me. That's crazy. So I do tap into those things, definitely.
That's so real. I just want to knock on wood for good luck.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. There's wood right there, Mo.
Wait, can I drink this water?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
It's your water.
All right, I know. I just don't want to make like a weird sound in the microphone.
It's ASMR. Actually, swallow it on mic. People will love it.
Yo, those videos are kind of crazy, but I'm not gonna do it.
You felt too weird.
Maybe I'll end up in an ASMR compilation.
Goals. Okay, can we talk about Narrated For You, your stories or a series of different people's stories?
These are my stories, all of them. Some of them are more of a metaphor, but they're all based on things that happened in my life. All of them, yeah.
Annabelle's homework. We'll start
Okay.
there.
So this song, some people have asked me. I got like 3 messages on Instagram. Like, people keep asking me, like, who is she?
Everyone's asking, bro.
No, but nobody is asking. But a couple of people who
Well, who is
listen.
she?
Yeah, and you asked. Well, so Annabelle is a metaphor for like maybe the person in your life where you kind of learn that you can't buy love, where you know you like someone and you know that they don't maybe care about you in the same way, but you keep thinking like, oh well, if I just get this concert ticket, or if they'll just see me in a new way, and then they don't. And that song is not about blaming the other person, but it's about feeling guilty that you thought that you could do that, because it's like you can't hold the other person responsible if they're honest about their feelings,
But was this Annabelle honest? Did she make it clear that
maybe she was taking a little bit of advantage of me, but I think also like, she kind of, she knew that I knew that she didn't like me like that. So, I did it. It was my bad.
But were you actually doing your homework? Is that real? All that stuff?
Yeah, actually that is true. And I had another story that was similar to that kind of inspired it as well, where one time I was doing somebody's homework in class. It was like one of the more popular kids. And he would always copy off my tests, and I thought, well, if I just give him the answers, which is like, why would he copy off my tests? I didn't even do that well in school, but but I thought like if I just give him the answers, then maybe he'll like me more. And then I overheard him kind of making fun of me, and I felt guilty because I should have known that that's just not how it works. Yeah.
Story, I get it.
And I thought Annabelle's a pretty name, so
beautiful.
Yeah.
So Annabelle's a made-up name.
Annabelle is not. Well, I mean, it is a name.
Well, it's a real name, but you made it up for the song.
But the person that I'm referring to in this song is not named Annabelle.
Is the last time you talked to this person back when you were in elementary or middle school? I guess that's when this happened?
Yes. Yeah, I haven't talked to them since, but I learned a very valuable lesson, so I think about it quite a bit.
22 days. What was the final straw in this situation that made you realize no more? Was it that kid talking behind your back?
Well, I just don't really like doing homework, so I kind of realized like at the end of it, I was like, well, maybe she's just not going to like me. I think the final thing was, I kind of just said, I was like, well, hey, what's up? What's going on? And it just, it didn't end up working out. And I knew from the start that it wouldn't. So sometimes you kind of just hold out hope.
Sorry.
Well, this Annabelle must have been a baby. You said like you're just another one who got hurt doing her homework. So was she doing this to other people or?
No, I think maybe I'm kind of more talking about like everybody goes through that at some point.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm just another person who thought that they could buy somebody's love. It's not her just doing that to a bunch of people. I don't think she was like that. Mm-hmm. She was a sweet girl.
Was it actually 22 days?
No, but 22 days and 21 nights sounded cool to me. Yeah, and I wanted people to think like I was really doing a lot of homework. Yeah, because then maybe girls will think like, wow, he's like pretty smart. That's crazy. That's a lot of homework to do. Like, how does he handle his workload and her workload and still do well in school? Like, that's a guy that I want to be with, and then maybe one day we can make a family, and then maybe I can complete my goal of having a nice family.
There you go.
So that's what that song is about.
It's really deep.
Yeah, it's like I thought about that a lot. I was like, okay.
But you probably did.
Well, maybe subconsciously. Maybe. No, I didn't think about it like that.
Was it painful though, like dissecting that experience, like going back and kind of reliving it? Or any of these stories was
no, because I was reliving that story anyways. Every time I think that, oh, maybe not that one, no. But I have this song called "If I Killed Someone for You," and that song maybe a little bit because that song is not about actually killing somebody, which is good. I've never killed anybody.
Good.
But
good to know.
Well, it's about like when you think if you change, you always. You know that saying, wherever I go, there I am? My mom says it to me all the time. But, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you think if you change yourself for somebody else, then, that can work. And eventually you always end up becoming who you are anyways. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It wasn't songs about, like, it starts out about, like, okay, I'm sorry I did this. I killed someone. Like, let me explain this to you. Like, are you going to love me more if I did this? And then find out in the end, like, well, the person that I killed is the person that I was before I was with you. And sometimes that's when your friends say, like, well, you were so different before. Like,
yeah,
why?
And you changed.
Yeah, you changed. And I did in that relationship.
What changed about you?
Well, I don't want to say anything, like, too crazy because it's not like it's not on her. It was all me. And she's a really cool person. But I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly what changed about me. I didn't spend as much time with my friends as I should have. I kind of regret that. And yeah, I don't know. I just got in a little bit too deep. Yeah. And
how does that relationship end? Do you end it? Do you realize
it's the same let me down slowly relationship? So
all connected.
It ended. Yeah. but yeah, it ended, but she's great.
Was it, to get into the area of your brain where you're like down to title song "If I Killed Somebody for You," it's dark.
Yeah, it was dark because, well, also I'm kind of weird, and sometimes like I was afraid that maybe she wouldn't like that, and I don't know if she would or if she wouldn't have. Maybe I was just assuming something that wasn't true. But
what do you mean, like if she would like the song or like?
No, like I like make up words and like do weird things, and like sometimes I was like, oh, well, I don't want her to like to think I'm weird, so maybe I won't do that around her, and you eventually suppress it for a long time. Sometimes you kind of lose a piece of yourself. The good part is though, it all came back. I'm weird again.
So you I mean,
And we love it.
You changed on two sides. You changed who you were for her, but then you changed to your friends as well.
Yeah.
Right? Not spending enough time with them. She's
Exactly. So
taking
yes.
over.
Yeah, that part, when I think about that, it makes me sad because I think that some of the relationships that I had because of that suffered a little bit. And I think that's just life. And I don't regret any of it because I grew a lot from it. But I learned a lot from that experience.
So, wow. I mean, dark time, so it kind of came naturally. Like,
Yeah, that song was pretty dark, but it's okay.
Steve.
Okay, Steve.
Yes.
Cool.
Cool.
What about it?
The story behind this is pretty fascinating. You did a writing camp that whole day. You write a ton of songs, and then you go to your hotel room,
Yes.
right? And Steve comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The message behind the song is you want what you don't have, but you have all the things you need.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a guy who does writing camps, right?
Right.
You're not a guy who gets with these biggest writers and goes from room to room while they're pitching you songs.
Mm-hmm.
You're yourself, right?
Right.
You,
I try to be.
you do your best work when you're by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how those two can kind of be connected?
Well, yes. I do see how that can be connected. And sometimes in my life, that's what this song is about. That there is a connection there because sometimes, I feel very fortunate for just like that I get to make music and I'm really happy. But I'm always looking for that one extra thing. It's like, well, my song was just a little bit bigger, or if I had just had this, or if I just had that, and I think that a lot of people are like that. And Adam and Eve, that story. I'm not like a super religious guy or anything, but I feel like Adam is kind of like the archetype of like the person who's just like, if I just had that one other thing, it's like, dude, you could live forever, like in this awesome place. Like, chill out. You don't need to eat that apple. But
But he needed it.
exactly.
He felt he needed it.
Yeah, he felt he did. And sometimes I feel like that's what the last verse is about. It's like sometimes I feel like that person. Maybe and then Steve is the person in your life that's always like, hey, there's always someone, whether it's your mom or your dad or your sister or your best friend or whatever, who's like, hey, things are going good. Just chill, take some time. Like, you should be happy for what you have. And you kind of just brush that person off. Like, yeah. And then, you go for whatever it is and you eat the apple and you compromise yourself. And I've done that before.
You ate the apple.
So I'm trying not to, but in certain situations I have, and I've regretted it.
Did you have a Steve?
I do. I have a lot of Steves in my life, but the Steve in my life is my mom, who's always like, things are okay. You don't need to be worried about everything else. Just worry about yourself.
Is there a connection between Steve and Gotta Be a Reason?
No, but I could see. I wrote them at a similar time, so maybe that's a connection. Maybe there's a connection that I just didn't even notice. But Gotta Be a Reason is about like. I'm trying to think. What is that song about? Well, I know what it's about.
Existence.
Yeah, that song is just like wondering why we're here. And I have that quite a bit. I go deep on YouTube into like a lot of videos about the universe. And sometimes I feel like I could be a scientist. And then I realize I'm not.
You haven't got to school for it and are poorly equipped.
I know nothing about science. But if you watch like a PBS video on science, you walk away feeling like a genius, which is awesome. So I do that frequently. Maybe that's where that song came from.
Wait, so Steve has nothing to do with the dumb quote like God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Someone called me. I was like, that must.
Well,
be
yes.
What it's about.
On first listen, you think that.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Someone called me after I wrote the song and I sent it to them, and I sent it out to whoever, and they were like, "Hey, well, don't you know that this is like a kind of like a slur, or like a really like it's a homophobic joke?" And I was like, I didn't actually even know that. But I don't think that the song, and I was like, "Yo, do you think the song is offensive?" And they were like, "Well, no, it's not." And I think that's had nothing to do with it, but like. Hey, it could be Adam and Steve. Like, that's fine with me. I'm like, yeah, great. That song is like a big, like middle finger to those people. It's like, it could be. Get out of here.
Well, that's where I got confused because there's the line about the snake, and I was like, is that supposed to be like a...
No.
I was like, so my mind was going all these places, but now
no, it's very literal. Yeah.
Has nothing to do with any of that.
It doesn't. But if that's what the song means for you, then like that's totally cool. I'm happy when people have a different interpretation of the music, just as long as they don't think that I was trying to offend anybody, because I was not. Yeah.
But this lyric, everybody should hear. You want what you don't have, but you have all the things you need.
Mm-hmm.
That is powerful stuff.
Cool. Well, yeah, I that's true for a lot of things, especially for me at certain times, and I wish that I could just be content, because like life is great, and sometimes like
There's a balance though.
yeah, that's true, but you could we're not gonna be here forever. At a certain point, like we're gonna sometimes I feel guilty for being excited about some of the cool things that have happened to me, because I never know when they're gonna end, and getting dropped from a record label, and you kind of don't want to get too excited because you never know. But then someone said to me the other day, they were like, well, you could die tomorrow, and if you didn't enjoy any of this, then what was it all for? And I thought that was a pretty true thing to say.
Hey, everybody in my family has been annoying me to get them this holiday season. It is perfect for anybody who has a mouth. It made it to Oprah's O list, and you use it twice a day. I'm talking about a toothbrush, but not any kind of toothbrush. I'm talking about the toothbrush of the now, which is also the toothbrush of the future, Quip. This thing is beautiful. I'm going to say it, like it's sexy looking. When I look at my sink and I see my Quip toothbrush hanging up there on my mirror, I'm like, whoa, this is the bathroom of the future. Everybody in my family wants this thing. My mom, my stepmom, my dad, my sister, and my grandma have all put in requests for Quip. I get it though, because it is really amazing. It's the first electric toothbrush ever to be accepted by the American Dental Association, and this thing has over 5,000 verified 5-star reviews. Quip is no joke. Pops right there on your mirror. That same holder that pops to your mirror can be used as a carrying case, so your Quip is easy to use on the go. Plus, there's no clunky charger with your Quip. Use one battery, it runs for 3 months like a charm. I don't think I can navigate my dental life without my Quip. It looks beautiful, it's so effective, and it's really fun to use. I genuinely love my Quip. Try it out if you need a toothbrush, or if you want to buy something for somebody you love this holiday. The Quip is perfect. Like, it looks like this fancy big ticket tech gift, but it really has the price of a stocking stuffer. And if you buy a toothbrush right now through me, you go to getquip.com/sang, you're not only going to get a toothbrush, but you're also going to get a free refill pack. That refill pack will come with a new battery and a new head to go right on your Quip. That is getquip.com/sang. Getquip.com/sang. 5,000 verified 5-star reviews. I promise you, Quip is no joke. If I can use it, if Oprah can use it, and if my grandma's begging me for one, you should definitely check it out. Getquip.com/sang. So what motivates you?
What motivates me to what?
To continue, to keep
continue?
going.
Well, I'm having fun. Yeah, I'm having a good time. And I don't know, maybe a lot of just like biological things. I get hungry, I have to eat, Yeah.
So you have to work to buy food?
Yeah, I got to work to buy food, all those kinds of things.
You might as well do what you love
Yeah.
to make the money you need,
Exactly.
Back to Gotta Be a Reason. Do you question existence? Do you question your existence?
Recently, I have been quite a bit. I don't know why I'm here. Yeah, it freaks me out, but that's cool. I think think everybody struggles with that. So.
But do you think your music and the stories you tell have some, purpose? That's maybe why you're here?
Maybe. I don't know. That's a big question, and I don't know the answer to that, but I hope so.
Well, what do you mean when you you don't know why you're here? Like what do you mean by that?
We're about to get so deep.
Like, why are any of us here?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the point is. That freaks me out a lot of the time. I often think about I like to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we're here. Life is awesome and it's fun. And I love my family and I love getting to do things like this. And everything. Maybe having a point or a purpose is maybe that's not even a thing. Maybe it's a very human construct. But when you're like, well, what if the world wasn't here? Then what? It's like, whoa.
Yeah, then there's just blackness. Yeah,
but I can't
knows.
even think. No one knows. That freaks me out.
But if we think and act in what we know, people kind of form their own point and their own purpose. Everybody within themselves, whether it's to provide for their family or who knows, do a job that is needed. I mean, everybody has their own purpose that they find out and they figure out.
Yes.
Do you think the world would be a different place without somebody like Aesop and all of his fables?
Yeah, definitely. I think the world would be a different place without anybody who's here right now. I think maybe everybody has more of an impact than they even know.
I agree, totally agree with that, 100%. But without those stories, right? A lot of like social norms and things that we've figured out and experienced. I mean, we'd be without them. We learned a lot from stories like that.
Yeah, and too, I was reading like the story of Cain and Abel, and where a brother kills another brother, and at that time there weren't so many people around. And I'm not getting biblical here. Like I don't know like what's true, what's not true, like who existed, whatever. I'm not saying anything. I'm very like you believe what you want to believe, but it is a story. And interestingly enough, like in that story, there was actually I think my sister was talking about it. I kind of just thought like at that time there weren't as many people in existence. So if you kill one person, you were killing a whole generation of people. That's a lot of people, So I think like they're important. Everybody is important.
True.
And it was represented in that story, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry,
Too many
that's
people,
deep.
if you ask me.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Nah.
Nobody asked me.
We're doing all right.
Do you have a song that you want to go into next?
Well,
I got one if you don't have one.
all right, yeah, you go.
Swim.
Okay, Swim.
Great record.
Thanks.
You wrote this with somebody else.
I did. I wrote this with a girl named Julie Frost. She's a fabulous lady, and I love her very much.
Is there some real meaning behind 40 Days?
There is. And I actually realized that in Annabelle and in this song I use days in the chorus. But I think that this song for me is a little bit less about a relationship, slightly about it, but it's also about, another 40 days I'm lost at sea, I'm just going to swim until you love me. And I think that song for me is about, I had this whole thing when I got signed for the first time about there were people who were like, oh, you're great, like it's gonna be awesome, like we love you. And then when I got dropped, all that kind of went away, and so I felt like I was just kind of like waiting, or like what's that word where you're like
treading water.
Yeah, I felt like I was
water.
treading water until like I had another opportunity. So that's what that chorus for me represents.
During that time, I mean, that's like obviously, talk about dark before, that's a dark moment, right? To feel that way, like you're out in the middle of the sea by yourself, just trying not to drown.
Yes.
How do you come back from that?
I just didn't have a choice. I think like the prospect of not making music was scarier for me than the prospect of just going for it. So I don't really consider that like being like a crazy thing to do. I was like, okay, I'll just go for it.
Was music the raft that just appeared and you grabbed onto it?
Yes, it was. I think so.
Out of curiosity, who forced you to make music again while you're in that moment, or did you do it yourself? Did you find it within?
I think I had it within me, but it was my parents who were like, you should keep going.
They were the raft.
They've always been the raft. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Did you ever see yourself being as successful as you are right now and most likely going to get bigger and bigger?
Well, I'm still at the very infant stages of my career. Things are just like getting started for me. I'm like really just at the starting block right now. So I'm excited for everything that is happening right now, but I definitely understand that I have to keep working hard, and that it's not just gonna happen. And even now, nothing is promised. I'm just getting a second chance now, which is nice.
Well, what in the past few months, like it was like 4, 5, 6 months ago since you were here, what happened like in the past few months where you're like, okay, this is working, I'm doing something right?
I think that happened in the last few weeks for me, only because I started my tour 3 weeks ago. And when you're on the internet, even if you have, get 1,000 likes on your picture or whatever, it's like, it's hard to understand that 1,000 individual human beings decided to, like a photo of yours. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying not to burp. Okay, all right. But I think that I got to meet some of those people, and like realized it felt very real to me. Like, okay, wow, there are 500 people in a room right now. Look, I know I'm not playing a stadium, but there's 500 people there.
They showed up for you.
Yeah,
Paid
and
to show up for you.
I remember one of the first shows that I did, and there were 5 people there, and I was like ecstatic.
You played parking lots.
Yeah. So to have 500 people in a room, in Seattle, you're like, wow, this is really cool. It's really, really cool. And I didn't think like, yeah, like I've made it, like let's go. I was more of like, wow, I'm very happy that people are listening to my music. It was just a feeling of like genuine excitement and like gratitude.
So do you feel like there's stories within you that need to be told, obviously still, because the only thing that motivates you that I'm starting to realize is that people are listening to your music. You just want your stories to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yes. There are lots of stories I want to tell still.
Stories from your life or stories from things that you've gathered recently?
Yes, stories from my life, stories from things that have happened to me in the past, stories from things that are happening to me right now. I have some ideas of things that I want to say. I have a few songs that yes. I have a lot of them. I have a lot of them of things that I'm excited to talk about.
What was the last song you made for Narrated For You?
The last song on there. I can't remember what songs are on there. The last one that I made. Wait, can you tell me what's it? Okay, the first one I made was 1994 because that I wrote when I was 18. So I'm trying to think of the last one that. The last one was probably Steve.
Really?
Steve was probably the last song.
How long ago was that?
Right before I put out Let Me Down Slowly.
Okay, so
yeah, like 6 months ago, and I've been writing in that period, so I have a lot of new music.
1994. You write that when you're 18, but you're 24 now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it is a long time ago.
You're in high school when that's written?
Right out of high school.
Fresh. Beautiful song. It's my childhood. It's your childhood. It's our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take me back to that day 6 years ago when this song first popped into your head? What was the first thing that sparked it?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how I wrote it. So I'd never really done songwriting sessions before. I just moved out to California, and I was with a friend. He was like, "Hey, I know this guy. He's from Germany, and he writes songs. Do you want to write with him?" And I was like, well, that sounds really scary, but I did it. And so I met up with him, and it was at this this preschool, and there were these tiny chairs. They were like, well, they weren't this big actually.
Chairs for ants.
The chairs were this big, and they expected you to sit in them. No, okay, the chairs were like this big, and I did sit in them. And we had like a little piano. And actually, it was a big piano. There was a piano bench there. I'm like, I don't know.
How big was it, you think?
I'm not sure. The piano was this big.
I have a measuring tape over here. Can you?
But anyways, I met up with him, and we were writing a song in this preschool, and I had the chords, and he had like a little melody for the verse, like a na 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 na. That was his idea. And then he was like, well, wouldn't it be cool, like, I don't know, maybe something about your generation? And I was like, well, what if it was like, this is where I broke my wrist, where I thought? And he was like, oh, that's cool. And then we wrote the song.
Yeah. Cool. And while it's coming out, are you going through your childhood?
Yeah, that's just my life. Like, I thought about the time where I, broke my wrist and I was jumping off of something because I thought I was Buzz Lightyear. I tried that one time. Doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
So you weren't trying to be Superman.
Mm-mm.
Julia Street, is that real?
Choya Street.
What is it?
Choya Street.
Choya Street?
Yeah, I know it's very hard. It's like it's like when people say saguaro, but it's saguaro. Arizona has a lot of things like that. So yeah, or they'll say chola. Yeah,
chola.
It's choya. It's a cactus.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's real street?
Yep. That's where I grew up.
Did you ever feel like you were going to ruin some childhoods talking about Santa Claus?
Yeah, you really effed with him.
I actually didn't think about that until I was 4 shows in, and I saw a mom covering her kid's ears.
What?
And I was like, oh no, I wonder how many people I've ruined Christmas for.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're like, Santa Claus isn't real?
He's what?
I probably just did it in this interview as well. If you're watching this, he's out there somewhere. He's still real.
Santa is 100% real. You're wrong.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Alec Benjamin.
I'm willing to accept that. I'd be okay with it if I was. What a wonderful idea.
Right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
He's always around.
Well, actually, it's kind of a
watching.
weird idea that someone is allowed to crawl into your chimney, but I kind of like it.
That's
yeah,
how
so
we
it's
don't-
all good.
that's why we don't-
But
we
please
don't-
don't. If you're watching this, don't crawl into my chimney. There will
Yeah.
be no cookies for you. You will not be welcomed in my. Well, I actually don't have a house yet. I still live at home, but my parents would probably be upset. All right, chill.
That's why you can't really think about it. You just know.
Yo, you should do a Christmas song, but it's like the anti-Christmas
I wrote
song.
a Christmas song the
Whoa.
other day. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
The idea of the song was about. I thought what it would be like. My parents are together, and I feel very fortunate. But I wonder what it would be like to. I have a song about Santa, and it's like from the perspective of a little kid, and it's like, how will he know where to find me?
Oh,
And I
interesting.
thought that was kind of a cool idea.
How'd your parents play into that?
Well, I think that I was just trying to empathize with some of the kids that I grew up with, just because I know how difficult it is when parents split up. And I thought, like, if you're 4 or 5 years old and you have to go to a different house and Santa's supposed to come to your house, how's he gonna know which house to come to?
I asked that question all the time growing up.
Yeah,
And
so
then they convinced me that Santa came to my dad's house a day earlier when I knew it was bull squash because Santa doesn't make 2 visits.
yeah, that's true.
He's got a
Santa
lot
goes
of house to
once.
get to, though. I mean, he could.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Is it like a real Christmas song though? Is there kind of like a Die Hard thing where like, is it a Christmas song? Is it not?
Well, it's more about like what it's. I don't know. It's just about being a kid and being scared, and not knowing, like, I don't know. I guess that's what you would think about, right? If you're 5 years old and you don't really know like how to you have to try and contemplate, or like you have to understand what's happening between your parents, and like, you know, Christmas is coming up, and that would be a thing that I would think about if I were a kid.
I
Like,
did.
Where's he coming?
That'd be the biggest thing you're thinking about,
Yeah.
because you're not really thinking about your parents' relationship at that point.
Right.
How, as somebody who went through it, you're 100% spot on.
Okay.
How do you exit yourself and enter into somebody else, or how do you like really like? You're kind of like making up an entire story here, right? You're writing from the perspective of people, but it's all fiction.
Well, it's still from the perspective. It's still from the perspective of myself, because I feel like that's what, I don't know, maybe I'm selfish for saying that, but that's what I would, if I were 4, like 5, I'd be like, what? Like, where? You know, and I think that I think what I like to do is, if I have a feeling, I want to give people that same feeling, and I want to show them, not tell them. So you could say, like, you know, it's really scary when your parents get divorced, or you could really outline that for someone. Like, imagine how scary it would be to be that kid, and then they feel it, you know.
Is that emotionally taxing for you to like dissect and try to imagine and live every detail?
It's emotionally taxing for me to not talk about things like that. I really, maybe it sounds weird, but I like writing songs like that because they mean something.
They do. What song off this album means the most to you?
The most to me, If We Have Each Other.
Because
Definitely. Yeah, that one's because it's about my parents and my sister. But also The Boy in the Bubble means a lot to me too. And then I think of the other ones, maybe, I always forget what's on there. Oh, Annabelle's Homework. Those are probably like.
What is it about that song? We've had a couple people in here recently, and they always bring up that.
I'm not sure, because I didn't know if I was gonna like it that much while I was writing it, and then when I finished it, and then something inside me, I was like, well, I should just put this on YouTube, and I did, and the response was really good from the people who follow my YouTube channel, and so I was like, well, let's finish it. And sorry, what was the question?
I was saying, because we've had a couple of other artists too. Like, if you're brought up, that's always the song they mention.
Yeah, I don't know why, because, you know, at first I thought maybe some of the people who follow me are a little bit younger, and that's something that they're going through. But I think it's just a very universal experience.
Everybody's gone
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah.
But all these songs, if everybody really listens to these records, they'll find different parts of themselves within them. I promise you and everybody listening, because it really is. I mean, you're talking about America before. It's so diverse and different, but there are common threads that link us all
Right.
together. There are pillars that we as humans all share. There's moments that we all share.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you know, the reason why I like lyrics so much, and why I like lyrics that maybe, you know, my music, I'm not like super hip dude, and so maybe that's why I don't
you're
like
pretty cool.
say like super hip stuff in my music, you know, but I also think that, like, you know, a lot of things change, production, taste change, but emotions, people in 1700 felt the same way as they feel now, you know, they express it in different ways, but everybody feels the same throughout history.
Love,
So-
loss, hate. Same
Yeah,
stuff.
these
Everyone-
are all
yep.
these are all very common things that we experience. So if you can kind of capture some of those themes in your music in a way that people relate to, then your songs could last forever, even if they're not like the biggest songs ever. I don't know how long my songs will last, but my goal is to just have songs that people can listen to, you know, in a few years, and not have it just be like oh, that was cool in 2018 or whatever.
Do you think Narrated For You did that?
I don't know. That's one of my big fears, but I hope it did. That's it's, you know, Narrated For You, if I get to continue making music, will hopefully be a stepping stone on my way to achieving that goal.
There's records on here that can last forever.
I hope you're right. Thank you for saying that.
I promise you. 9/11 gets mentioned in 1994. That's a big move. Big move. Did you understand the weight of that when it was happening?
When 9/11 happened, I didn't.
You can go into when it was, please.
Or when I wrote about it.
Yeah, when you wrote it.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to put it in the song because I feel like that's a moment in everybody's life. You know, my mom was telling me she remembers when, when JFK got shot. And I feel like that moment in her life, like my equivalent is 9/11.
Yeah.
Seeing those images was just everybody in the world remembers that. So I wanted to put it in a song.
Where were you?
I was walking to my parents' room because I had wondered, like, why didn't they wake me up to go to school? Because my mom used to wake me up for school. And I saw that they were watching TV, and my mom tried to explain to me, like, what was happening. And a lot of my family lives in New York. I live in Arizona at the time, but my parents couldn't get a hold of anybody in our family, and a few of my few members of my family worked and lived close to the World Trade Center.
Is that the day you understood death?
No. The day that I understood death, I remember that I was 3.5 and I was driving the car with my dad. This is like one of my first memories, and I said to my dad, I said, Dad, do people die someday? And my dad said, yes.
And there you have it.
Yeah, and then I knew.
But you knew what death or do people die. You knew the act of not existing.
Yeah, but I didn't understand that kind of evil until 9/11. That was when I understood that, like, there's evil in the world. That to me was like, wow. That was really very jarring for me.
What do you want somebody who's not a part of our generation to take away from a record like 1994?
Well, maybe they just see, sometimes people talk about, like, oh, well, these kids don't understand anything, or like, these adults or whatever. But it's just like, well, maybe it's just like a kind of like a peek into what it was like being born in that year and then growing up.
You go.
Do you have to give writing credit to whoever wrote My Country Tis of Thee? Or Tis of Thee?
I believe it's public domain.
Okay.
Yeah.
It totally is.
But yeah. Okay, good. Because I wasn't sure.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
My Country Tis of Thee, Be Who You Want to Be. Every time I hear that, I get emotional because
cool.
I think our generation kind of embodies that. Like, if you were to really sum it up in one line, it's pretty close.
I think so. And
I think every generation kind of feels that way too, so it like relates to everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every generation has their own thing like that.
Absolutely. That I agree. And we grew up, like, I don't know, just I remember them always saying, like, be who you want, like, this is America, and it's like, oh, I don't know, it's just a thing. It's just something I put in my songs, something that sticks out in my head.
Well, I was going to say, what is it about Death of a Hero that caught John Mayer's attention? Have you figured that one out? What's crazy? I've been talking to him for like the last 4 or 5 days, just over text. It's like the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm actually going to his house on Sunday. You're doing his Instagram show, aren't you?
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, it's gonna be very cool. I'm very excited. And I'm not sure really, but I think maybe John Mayer is like, I'm like, when I was younger, that's who I want to be him, I wanted to be him. I still do. And so maybe what he saw in it was just, I remember he said something. He said, the way you find your sound is by trying to be like the people you look up to and failing. And so maybe he sees me trying to be like him and failing, but finding myself. Maybe that's what he sees in it. I don't know.
Because he said, this is songwriting, this is how it's done.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it was a very cool moment for me.
What do you think your strength is as a songwriter?
I think my strength, I'm trying to get better, but I think that I like writing lyrics. Lyrics are the most important thing to me in music because I didn't get into music. Music is something I fell in love with after I fell in love with trying to say something important. I always thought when I was a kid, maybe I'm dumb, but I was always for saying it, but I was like, oh, I want people to listen to me, I have something to say. And so that's why, and I realized that if I could just maybe write a melody that was pretty, then people would listen to it instead of being like, Alec, shut up. Stop talking.
You can sing along with it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not so fun to listen to me just go on rants.
Outrunning Karma, who's this piece of shit?
That's just about somebody in my life that I knew that I thought was maybe kind of like being a little bit of a womanizer and not really respecting other people, and everything is going okay for them, but it was just me kind of being like, and I don't like to preach, but I kind of want to just be like, hey, you know, one day might catch up with you. Yeah, but that's
And has
rude.
it?
I don't know yet, but I don't. I always feel bad about saying that because I'm like, people are free to live their life however they want, and I don't know like what everybody's going through or whatever, but you know, it's just putting it out there.
See, like, you say you have so much to say, but like in a social situation, you're never like the crazy, like a party situation. You're not holding court or like.
Well, that's because like I was the other night when we were in Seattle and we went to go get some food. It was really late and we were in this like club. It was the only place you could order chicken wings, and I was like, let's go, I'm so hungry, you know. So we were
Gotta have my wings.
Yeah, we were sitting in there, and then everyone was talking, but the music was so loud, like you can't talk about any of the things that maybe that you can't get very deep, you know.
And you do get deep. Like you're a one-on-one.
I'm an all or nothing kind of person. I'm not trying to have like a surface level conversation with anybody, you know. So it's like if we're going for it, we're going for it, you know.
All right.
Sometimes I'm too intense for some people, and I understand that. But it's just who I am.
Have you lost a friend due to your too intenseness?
I've lost a lot of friends, and I'm trying to like. It's not. I mean, not a lot of friends, but you know. I don't know. This is something that I struggle with a lot. Because, I don't know. It's very hard for me to get into. I haven't lost a lot of friends, but I used to like, I love the debate and arguing, and it's like something that really interests me. I enjoy it. But, you know, I also get that that's not something that everybody wants to do. And I've matured a lot. So maybe I didn't lose a lot of like serious relationships, but some friends in like 6th grade were like, dude, chill out. Like, I'm not trying to hang out with you anymore. Maybe I don't want to go over to your house and have a juice box. Like, I'm not trying to argue with you.
Ecto cooler.
Yeah.
Any random people reach out to you now that you have a huge album and John Mayer Instagramming you?
What do you mean? Like
just randoms from the past popping their head back up? Saying hi?
You know, I kind of kept to myself in school, so not really. Just family members who I speak to regularly are telling me they're excited for me, and I appreciate that. Yeah, some random people, but you know, that's always nice.
Cool. Wow.
I have a few like real quick questions.
Yeah.
Have you revealed who Death of a Hero is about yet?
No, I can't.
We get that question all the time.
I know.
That I can't.
Never
that I
gonna
cannot
do
do. Probably not.
Do you still listen to their music?
Yes.
All right, so it's a musician. I just want to see if we could get that. So it
Okay,
isn't-
oh no.
Have they
Well, of
released
course it
music
is.
recently?
I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
I was going to ask Nuclear Winter. I got a call this morning from somebody who was like, I need to hear this song.
Okay. Oh really?
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's crazy though? Someone has been sending out emails for people that two people that I've worked with. Actually, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say this. I'm not trying to inspire anybody.
Okay.
Never mind. We'll skip over that.
Got it.
But if I have Nuclear Winter, I'll maybe put it out.
Whoa.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's a dark one. Talk about dark.
It is a little dark.
Yeah.
I like to imagine crazy scenarios of how I would feel, and then I write a story about it. Yeah. So that's what that song is about.
Spectacular.
well, the other one, as someone who's known for like their lyrics, is there a song out there right now that you're like, that's a good song lyrically? I wish I wrote that one.
That came out recently.
Or just like anytime, yeah.
Mad World by Tears for Fears, like one of my favorite songs ever. Obviously,
Wow.
Stand by Eminem. I mean, I was listening to the song America by Paul Simon. Like just driving through America, listening to that song was kind of a cool experience. There's a lot of songs, The Sound of Silence,
We're
Daughters.
talking about iconic records here.
Yeah.
Timeless records. All
so
of them.
what he says is today's music, no.
Well, no, but maybe I don't know. I have not stayed up to date enough for me to make a judgment. But I really like Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, one of the greatest songs. Like Daughters by John Mayer.
Dude, Daughters and Waiting on the World to Change, but Daughters first. Like the detail and the pictures that you could see in your head when you listen to that song.
Yeah,
So beautiful.
amazing. The way that he uses words is like really spectacular.
And now he's your friend.
Well, you know what? I will call him a friend. I'm not sure if he would reciprocate, but you know, yes.
I think he would. I think he's a cool dude.
I call him a friend. Yeah. But I would have done that before any of this happened anyway. So
Before he
yeah.
knew you.
I
Yeah.
mean, he invited you over to his house. I mean, only friends get the invite.
All right, fine.
I
We're
think.
friends. All
There
right,
you go.
cool. Well, you said it, not me. So if he watches this, he'll know. Like if he doesn't feel the same way, it was because you made me say it. Okay.
Well, you're welcome.
Alec Benjamin.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This album, I can't tell people enough to go and listen to it. It is so beautiful, and the stories are just.
Okay, I have to say one thing though. We called it a
Go.
mixtape because my album is coming in probably in the summer.
Okay,
But it's same thing. It's an album.
But, like,
it's an
you-
album of songs.
album collection of stories
Yes.
that deserve your ear.
Thank you.
And do you have this album already finished?
No, but I have some songs for it. A lot of songs for it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Continuation of what Narrated For You is?
Yeah, just same stuff, just me more. Yeah, more songs, more songs that I've written.
More Alec.
More
Yeah.
Alec Benjamin.
Dude, this body of work, I connected with it very deeply and very
Thank you.
emotionally, and I really do appreciate it.
Thank you
It's
guys for having me back.
Thank you for coming back.
exquisite
Really
top to
appreciate
bottom.
it.
I love you deeply.
Thank
as
you.
a
I love
human
you guys.
being and as an artist, Alec Benjamin.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
I really hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you did, please subscribe and also check out our podcast. There's a link in the description, and also comment and like and do things. Other interviews are on the screen somewhere, so click them. Thanks for watching.